Hey everybody, welcome to Geeksvana Live. My name is Sean, which you probably already know. It's great to see you all this evening. Thank you very much for popping along to see us. A bit of an impromptu live stream this evening, mainly from a lot of questions that I've been having from viewers via the DMs on Twitter, etc., asking about everything that's happening DJI-wise at the moment. So I thought I'd put it all together and give a little bit of feedback as a DJI show, basically. Now, if this is popular in the future, then we could have these occasionally, not very often, but I think when we've got a lot going on with DJI like we have at the moment, certainly in the rumor and leak side of things, I think it might be quite good to have a show like this, frankly. So very quickly, say hi to everybody in the chat. Thank you very much for all the early people that have joined us. I really do appreciate it. Drone Shots, Jody, good to see you. Gary from Brantario has popped in before the show started as well. Fly Sky Drones, Tony, good to see you. Congratulations, Tony, on the success of your Reading Festival photographs. If anybody has seen the coverage in the press where they're talking about the Reading Music Festival and the clear up that had to happen afterwards, showing all of the incredible amounts of rubbish that was left by the festival goers, it was probably Tony's pictures, because they were used heavily in the national media. So well done, Tony. Fantastic. And I understand that you managed with the I can't remember his name now, but the Big Ladder account, the chap from Drone Prep, I understand you managed to ensure that you got monetized for that as well, which is absolutely fantastic. Mike Drennan, good to see you. Matty's Drone World, hi Matty, great to see you, sir. Johnny Mac 26, great to see so many of the channel members in tonight as well. Thank you so much for coming along and joining us. We've got a fun and relaxed show ahead of us. Leandrone, good to see you. Where is the Mini 3, Jarl? Well, we will be talking about that this evening, certainly. Mike Hrenak. Am I saying that correctly, Mike? I never know if I'm saying your surname correctly, apart from to say A2 S Army in, because we're not out yet. So, Fish Diaries, hi, good to see you as well. Mudball Creative, good to see you. Great to see so many of the usuals. Airless Mean, hello, sir. Great to see you. Recovery One Drone, absolutely fantastic. Got you at 1080p 60 frames a second here. That's awesome. Thank you, sir. You might find that if you have any issues as far as Elsmegad was talking about some stuttering, that type of thing, that either you've been drinking too much, or you could also find that if you press the little 3 buttons, if you're watching on mobile, you can check your settings, because YouTube is now starting to put everybody to the lowest settings, even 140p, 340p, which you can boost that up to 1080 60 frames, which is what we send it out to you as. So hopefully that'll start working. Mark WW, hi, great to see you. Jesse Drone Viral, good to see you as well, and so many awesome people. And Chuck Kovaction Geography getting there in the end. Okay, so Mike is saying you say it as Renak. Thank you. It's good to know, because it's always when I see your comments on my channel, Mike, it's good to I say your name in my mind, so it's always good to know how to actually say people's names properly. So tonight we're not going to be talking about anything fact, apart from the fact we do have some actual photos of a couple of the products. These are leaks and rumors and opinions, essentially. So if you're here to find out the absolute fact on anything at all, you will not find it in this video. So good night, goodbye everybody. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye. I just wanted to be upfront with you that we're not claiming to have any kind of secret insider information. This is purely to mop up all of the talk on the Mavic 3, the High 5 release, the OM5, Osmo Mobile 5, Osmo Action 2. There's so many things. Mini 3, there's so many things happening, and we are going to touch on all of them this evening, and bring you up-to-date information that we have in terms of the rumor side of things. Paul Murray, great to see you, one of our oldest channel members there. I'm not calling you an old man, Paul. I mean that you've been one of our most long-term channel members, I should have said there, but there we go. So yeah, so coming up tonight, we're going to, as I said, we're going to be talking about all of those different bits and pieces. If you have a particular question or a particular point you want to make that you would like read out or anything else like that, you can tag at Geeksvana in the chat to ask any questions as we go along. It does help me to see your questions and obviously, or any points of view that you want to put across. So it helps me to pick it out from the chat, especially as I'm running solo this evening, which is what I thought I would do for this particular show. If you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on tonight's stories. I do read all of the comments and I do try to answer most of them too, but I'd really like to get some people's sort of feedback on that. Before we get onto the meat and veg, as it were, of tonight's show, just wanted to give a little bit of a channel update briefly. Now, a couple of things to update in terms of the channel. We've got 3 giveaways running at the moment. One is an A2 CofC course, which is the CAA course with our channel partner, Drone Masterclass, which actually ends tomorrow. So you have to get in pretty quickly if you want to win that one. Now that's free, and all you have to do to enter that one is actually join our Discord channel and like the post in the giveaway, or join our Discord server and like it in the giveaway channel, and that would automatically put you in as an enter. You get a little message to say that you've entered, and then you actually get an automated result at the end, basically. So the Discord bot chooses a winner, which I think is a really, really fair way to do it, frankly. We're also giving away a Remote Pilot 101 course from the M08.com people. Of course, it's Jason Shappert, as you all know him as Mr. Two Watches. And now that giveaway ends on the 8th of September. And again, to join that, to enter that, you need to join our Discord channel, which I'm going to very quickly run down here, because I didn't actually have the message ready, and I'm going to pop a link to that in the live chat, but there is actually a link to it in the description as well. Let me just apologies there, I want to get that correct. There we go. So yeah, there is actually the link to the M08.com website, which obviously the drone side of it we all know as Remote Pilot 101, and there's also a link there to the Discord channel, which will give you all a way of entering in there. Now, there's actually only about 4 or 5 entries for the Remote Pilot 101 lifetime membership on there as well. So I would highly recommend that you get down there and enter that. Now the Discord channel is a chilled out place. There's quite a few of our channel members in here and viewers tonight who are members in there as well, and we all have a chat about drones. We even have a rant section in there. We have a men's health section, and we talk about everything in life, including of course flying our drones and getting some technical help. We've also got FPV channels in there and that type of thing as well. It's a great place to hang and chill out, and it's of course completely free of charge, so that's always good. So those 2 giveaways are happening on the Discord server. We also have a competition to win some filters, some freewheel filters for your DJI Air 2S, which is an all-day set of 8, which is fantastic. Thank you very much to Freewheel Filters. And that video, there is a link in the description to go and watch that video, which is basically a bit of an introduction to ND filters, because I haven't really covered them on this channel before. And there's a very simple way. You've basically got to comment on that video and send an email to confirm it, so that with your channel or your YouTube username, so that I can link the 2 together when we do pick a random winner via the good old comment picker. So yes, and before we move along, actually, as we're mentioning things like courses, just want to mention one of our show sponsors, who's actually a channel partner, Drone Masterclass, who are a great source for all your UK drone training needs, including the A2 CofC and the GVC courses. Now, they've also got some very exciting additional courses and add-ons coming soon as well, and there is a link in the description and right now in the live chat for you to go along and have a look, basically. But again, join the Discord channel, because you could win the A2 CofC course completely free, which would be pretty fantastic, wouldn't it? So first up, I want to talk about the High 5 launch. Now, we've all seen this, we've all been pretty excited about it. It's something which is fairly, certainly, you know, it has piqued my curiosity, shall we say. We did debate this on a special live show earlier in the week with Ken Heron, where we had a little bit of fun talking about whether or not it could be the Phantom 5, which is what Ken's personal hopes were. He did put an Instagram post out today showing the Osmo Mobile 5 leaked picture, cursing DJI for the fact that that's probably what's coming out. But you know, my thoughts are that it is going to be the Osmo Mobile 5, the phone gimbal, the next iteration of that. It could be something else. It could be that those leaked photos have come out, but you know, we're talking about from the point of view that there's no FCC filing for anything else, so I don't think it's going to be anything drone related. The high side of it, so it's High 5, which could be also, you know, although it's spelt in the high hello sense, it could be high from the point of view of a drone, but I think that's actually because the Osmo Mobile 5 actually has a telescopic arm on it, basically. So yes, Elsmeged, you're dropping audio and video frames. Can anybody else let me know if they're experiencing that as well? Because we have got the CPU currently running at 3% and 60 frames a second with zero dropped frames on the software. So yeah, just let me know in the chat, everybody. Hi TA Air, good to see you. If you're seeing lag at all, I'd be very interested to know that, because it is unfortunately a YouTube issue if that's happening, because everything is beautiful on this side, including my playback screen from YouTube. Okay, but thank you for letting me know. So yeah, so now feedback from the community in terms of what it could be. I've had all sorts of reactions from viewers thinking it could be from a 5K action camera, and as to whether the 5 on the animated version on the website actually turns into a 3 during the video. So it could have been the Mavic 3 or the Mini 3. They are interesting, but as I say, with the FCC filings, for now, I think it's actually only going to be that one. It's only going to be the Osmo Mobile 5, which of course is a great time to move on to that. And here we have the Osmo Mobile 5 pictures, which have been released. So at first glance, looks fairly similar to the previous iteration. Again, with the, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later on, with DJI, I think we are going to see iterations rather than anything particularly dramatic for the next few years. As you can see here, it's got a clasp around it. This part of it on the Osmo Mobile 3, this sort of section here, is actually okay. Once you've got it set up for your phone and everything, I quite like it. I didn't like the Osmo Mobile 4 where this would detach and you would have to put part of it under your phone's case, and a magnetic strip here and magnetic strip there. So this hopefully looks like it's actually going to cling on to the phone a little bit better, which for me, I'm much happier about. This section here is obviously something which is new to the Osmo Mobile. Which is obviously a telescopic handle. I'll be interested to see if that is actually, I can't imagine it being mechanical. I would assume it's going to be a manual operation thing, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, with the white color and just the general rule of thumb with this type of phone gimbal product, I think it's going to be very popular in the Asian markets, and I think that's very much where they're aiming this particular product at. I haven't heard too many people get that excited about it. I'm going to be interested to see what it does, and I'm going to be interested to see, you know, people like, no doubt people like Flight Path, 51 Drones, Ready Set Drone, etc. will have videos on this, so I will be very interested. The main package here shows a very simple package of the I'm not personally that keen on these white colors that keep coming out, and the off grays and that type of thing, but there we go. That's just a personal opinion. The Pocket 2 in white to me would just get grubby so quickly. Again, they do refresh these things so quickly that perhaps it won't actually happen anyway. So yes, so that is the Osmo Mobile 5, which I think is probably going to be the High 5 launch that's coming out. I think it's an interesting product. I think it's a sign of the times as far as Chipageddon and everything else like that is concerned, from the point of view that we're seeing that refresh before any others, because the technology within there is much easier to produce in terms of bringing it out reliably into mass production. As I understand it, there are other products out there like the Action 2, which some YouTubers have even actually had their hands on so far. So yeah, it might be, it'll be interesting, certainly. Again, sorry for anybody that's getting any kind of stuttering. James Lakesman said the same, and the Mojek as well. Everything's looking 5x5 on my end, so apologies that that's happening. It must be a YouTube thing this evening, unfortunately. It happens. Okay, just very quickly before we move on to the next topic, I just want to say very quickly that, as many of you will know, we've actually got a second sponsor here on the channel, which is Moonrock Insurance, and they have very kindly set up a promo code, a discount code, which gives you 10% off, which is fantastic. So all you have to use is the tag Geeksvana 10 before you go to checkout, and actually get 10% off your hobby drone insurance, which is a new product that they've just launched. So that's very exciting, and thank you very much to Simon and the team at Moonrock for that, which is pretty awesome, frankly. So yes, so moving on to our next subject, we've had quite a few pictures coming out recently of the Mavic 3. If you go back to one of my videos from 2 years ago, where we were talking about whether rumors are a good thing or not and that type of thing, there was even the hand-drawn image that we had of the Mavic 3 all the way back then, which is incredible to think, frankly. It's interesting that these things keep coming out, and of course one of the more recent ones we've been seeing is this one with the dual lens. Now, this isn't to be confused with the Dronemodelismo offering, which we will come on to. But I think this might actually be someone that's sort of, you know, copying that, as it were. But to me, these aren't real. I mean, from the point of view that if you look at this shot, the front right arm isn't even in the right proportion to the rest of the drone, and there's other all sorts of other issues. But one of the things that is an issue for me on this is the fact that this particular picture looks very similar to this old picture, which was again supposed to be absolutely 100% going to be the exactly what the Mavic 3 looks like. So it's interesting. It's interesting to me. I think that this has been made by either the same person or someone's taken this picture and made this picture out of it, frankly, and added what has been the latest leak in terms of the Mavic 3 is concerned. So it's an interesting one, but I think it at least debunks those particular photographs, and the rendering's different on the different side of things, etc. So is the Mavic 3 leaks, are they actually real at all, which is obviously the next thing which we have to consider. Our friends over at Dronemodelismo, the Brazilian drone channel, who often come up with some fantastic information which has been highly reliable previously, they have come up with these pictures. I'm pointing, but you can't see me pointing. These pictures here. And these are taken from photos which they have, which they're unable to publish the full photos for obvious legal reasons. And these have, they look like they've gone through the sort of the sketch side of things on something like Lightroom or a publishing software. And it's interesting to see some of the specs that they're talking about is things like new collision avoidance system with outside sensors, front and rear OA sensors shifted to the corners to apparently give a wider angle. And you can see that on some of these pictures where the sensors are actually, rather than being completely front facing, they are sort of going out at the corners, which again, it makes sense from the point of view of covering wider angles. A Hasselblad dual camera, so the dual side of the camera, which we saw in the other photograph that I think is certainly debunked as not being real. It is there. It is on some of the angles of these pictures. It does look fairly similar. The top camera with a 7x zoom, the lower for 5.7K 24mm with an f-stop of 2.8. Be surprised if the f-stop was 2.8, but okay, or fixed. 16mm adapter lens, Apple ProRes format support, 1 terabyte internal memory. That's where it starts to fall apart a little bit for me personally. More than 40 minutes flight time, that would make sense. A 5,000 or 6,000 mAh Leon battery, not sure in brackets there. The battery mount from the back, Mini 2-star, okay, I can live with that. Gimbal now is an integrated automatic lock. I don't know if it continues with the acrylic protector. Now, the Mavic 3 will use the same remote controller as the Air 2S, and a new smart controller will be released as well. As far as that spec of information, for one of the issues that I have with that kind of thing is that I'm not sure from pictures, that type of thing, unless you've got your hands on one of these things, I'm not sure how you can get that much level of spec. But that is the rumor, and that is the idea behind this evening's show. So for me, it's interesting. The pre FCC unboxing leak video type of information is always very unreliable, in my opinion. And you often get people saying, oh, it's going to be 20K at 1,000 frames a second and all this sort of specification, but without any real basis of what that's based on. The 1 terabyte internal memory, that would be going in a very different direction, and I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. It's little things like that in there that make me think I'm not 100% sure what's going to be happening from that point of view. So, but again, it is going to be interesting to see what happens. So where does all these rumors and leaks leave things as far as the DJI Mini 3, which of course was something all the videos were about just a few short months ago, including a couple from myself? Well, we've got no further speculation on the Mini 3 right now. In my opinion, the issues actually surround things like the pandemic and Chipageddon with the chip shortages, which will have delayed the release schedule. If they release in a similar format to previous minis, then of course we're looking at just before Christmas, perhaps November time, but we're not sure. A Mini 3 is coming, but when is obviously one of the big questions. Now, let me know in the chat, and for people watching the replay in the comments below, what specs you'd like to see on the Mini 3. I'd really be interested to know as far as what would make you upgrade from either a previous one or actually buy your first mini drone. Now, the Mini SE, of course, was brought together with a lot of different parts, different chipsets, that type of thing. So to me, it shows that DJI were hoping to have more models out there this year, especially when you look at the unusual way it was launched, and even still now, still soft launched rather than the hard launch, almost like a grey product, which, you know, firstly not being confirmed by some media sources as not being available in the US, and then suddenly, of course, it was. It's going to be interesting for sure. Now, for me, the Mini 3 is probably something I'm more excited about if the Mavic 3 is going to be further delayed. And again, I'm slightly concerned about the fact that the Mavic 3 is at that level and potentially doesn't have any C label, which of course for Europe and the UK is extremely important. And if it didn't have it, and a Mavic 3 came out costing anything up to $2,000, I'm afraid to say that I probably wouldn't be looking to purchase it, and I would be holding out for the next Mini 3, basically, frankly. Mudball Creative says, I'm still happy with my Mini 1 for personal use. I need a pro drone. Yeah, no, indeed. Yeah, we do need to start seeing something a little bit more meaty, don't we, coming down the line. But again, I need to see the C label for here over in the UK for certain. North Coast Aerial Photography, do we have the weight? Sorry, I've just joined. I doubt it's sub 250. No weight at all. It will not be sub 250, the Mavic 3, certainly. That will not be happening, in my opinion. Yes, thanks Andy L. Smeghead. Don't want to tempt fate, but audio issues appear to have gone. Everything is running exactly normally as it would do on one of my... apologies if you're watching the replay, this is obviously a little bit boring to you guys, but everything's running normally on my side, so it is, unfortunately, seems to be a bit of a YouTube glitch this evening, so apologies if you're getting any audio tracing or any glitching from that point of view. But in fact, I'm going to... Here we go, a bit of an in thing here for me and Andy. We often message each other. I'm going to send you a picture of my settings so you can see exactly how beautifully everything is running. There you go. So yes, so that's the Mini 3. We'll have to wait and see in terms of how much the chip shortage, Chipageddon as I call it, is actually delaying things. I think, as I say, the SE coming out is an indicator that they want to get more revenue in, and they obviously feel like they're missing out on something there. The other thing that I'm interested in as well is, because we've seen these photos and we've had the FCC filing for the DJI Osmo Mobile 5, or OM5 as they now call it for short, is actually the next Osmo Action camera, because of course okay, there you go. There was actually one. I actually just hit my mute button on my microphone. Apologies there, people. Fun and games. Okay, now the next thing to talk about is actually what I think in terms of the future direction for DJI. Now, in terms of their direction, I think we've got several issues. Again, Chipageddon, pandemic, but that will pass, of course, and that will normalize over time. I think the wider issue we've got in terms of direction of DJI and in terms of what kinds of releases we can expect to see from them in the longer term, it are things like the entity list and the US distrust of Chinese products, and therefore, you know, DJI drones in particular. I think that side of things, the sort of tug of war that's happening in terms of, and I'm not getting political at all, but the tug of war that's happening there politically is interesting, because I think it will have a direct impact on how much DJI look to really up their game on the enterprise side of things, certainly, especially when that large section of the world enterprise market is off limits to them, basically. We've also got things like changing legal and regulatory issues. I think as rules change, as things like the C labels in the UK and across the EU come in, remote ID and UTM around the corner, I think it's going to be interesting to see how much effort DJI put into their enterprise and prosumer drones, in terms of, you know, where we could see things happening. To me, I think we're a good couple of years before the regulatory side of things really calms down a lot. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the US and the UK, and therefore across Europe, in terms of the sub 250 gram drone regulations. I think that's going to be a real one to keep an eye on as we go through. And the other issue that I have at the moment with the DJI releases is that we seem to be going to more like an Apple format. So where you would expect a new iPhone to start leaking almost as soon as the previous model has come out. And to me, that means we're not innovating as much as we were in the drone market before. I think the Mavic 3 could possibly be one of the first genuinely new products. I think there will be tech and spec in there. Well, I hope there will be tech and spec within the Mavic 3 that will be very, very different to what we're seeing, frankly. So yes, so that's really my opinion as far as where I think DJI could go in the future side of things. Let's see what people are saying in the chat, apart from telling me to turn on my microphone, which is always fun. Apologies there. And Elsbeck is saying he's dragged the stream back 30 seconds. It plays fine, only glitching when fully live. Again, yeah, nothing I can do there, buddy, I'm afraid. Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us this evening. I hope you've enjoyed the first edition of what is the Geeksvana DJI show. Hit subscribe if you're new, and look out for the next episode. It'll probably be on at least a monthly basis, even potentially one every couple of months, because we need enough to be able to talk about to bring this up. But I thought it's a nice way of bringing together all of the little bits and pieces that have been happening, and have a chat with the audience about it. So yeah, so thank you again, everybody, for joining us. I really appreciate it. I think I saw Tamara Gabriel popping in there as well. Alex, Travels with Rosie, great to see you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time on Geeksvana Live. Bye bye.